Have you ever thought that your everyday favorite foods, the ones you trust the most, might be silently driving up your blood pressure? Today, we'll hear the story of Harold, a 66-year-old man, as we uncover 5 foods that people over 60 with high blood pressure should start avoiding as soon as possible.
Hello, doctor. My name is Harold. I'm 66 years old and I live in Tampa, Florida with my wife, Doris. We've been retired for a few years now and life's been pretty peaceful. Every morning I take a walk around the neighborhood, then come home for breakfast and take my medication right on schedule. I thought I was doing just fine until my recent checkup. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure about 4 years ago, and since then I've taken my meds faithfully. I cut out salty foods completely, haven't touched fried stuff in years. Doris even makes sure I eat more vegetables, cut down on sugar and stay away from red meat. And yet my blood pressure has started to creep up again. Not by much, but enough that my doctor had to change my medication. And now I'm starting to worry. It feels like I've been doing everything right, but something's still not adding up. I started wondering if maybe I've missed something in my diet. Then one evening, while reading the news on my iPad, I came across an article that said, some foods that seem harmless, like pickles or canned soup, can actually be silent enemies for people with high blood pressure. That really caught me off guard. Honestly, I do eat a slice of deli meat with breakfast now and then, or heat up instant noodles when Doris is out at her book club. I always thought it's just a little should be fine, but maybe I was wrong. That's why I'm reaching out with this question. I'm hoping a doctor or someone who knows more about this can help me understand. Are there really everyday foods we've been eating without knowing they're secretly pushing our blood pressure up? And if so, which ones should we cut out first?
Hello, Mr. Harold, and hello to everyone watching today's video. Your concern is not only valid, it's actually very common. Many older adults, even those who take their medication faithfully and eat what seems like a healthy diet, still struggle with rising blood pressure. One of the main reasons is this: we tend to judge food by how it looks or sounds without noticing what's hidden inside. Things like sodium, saturated fats, refined sugars, and chemical preservatives often sneak in quietly, even in foods that appear harmless. Here are 5 foods that people over 60 with high blood pressure should seriously limit, because even though they may seem harmless, they can have a major impact on your heart health. Let's start with deli meats. Mr. Harold might think that a slice or 2 of deli ham with breakfast isn't a big deal. But in reality, just 2 thin slices can contain half the daily sodium limit recommended for someone with high blood pressure. And it's not just the salt. Processed meats often contain preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, which can damage blood vessel walls, contribute to elevated blood pressure, and even increase the risk of colorectal cancer. Healthy swap. Try shredded boiled chicken or steamed unsalted salmon instead. They're heart-friendly, easy to digest, and still full of flavor. We often reach for these foods out of convenience, especially when we're alone or just don't feel like cooking. But convenience should never come at the cost of our health. A single pack of instant noodles can contain 1,200 to 1,800 ml of sodium, more than the recommended amount for an entire meal. And canned soups? Not much better. Even those labeled healthy often rely on high sodium levels for flavor and shelf life. Healthy swap. Try homemade vegetable soup made with low-sodium bone broth and fresh herbs. It's nourishing, flavorful, and much kinder to your blood pressure. These are traditional favorites that bring comfort and flavor. But most fermented vegetables like pickles or sauerkraut require a lot of salt for preservation and fermentation. For someone with high blood pressure, Just 1 or 2 tablespoons of pickled vegetables a day can cause noticeable spikes. Healthy swap, light, tangy salads made with apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, or unsalted plain yogurt can offer that same zing without the salt overload. Many people assume sugar has nothing to do with blood pressure, but that's not quite true. Refined sugars, especially fructose, can raise insulin levels and trigger the kidneys to retain sodium. The result: water retention, increased blood volume, and higher blood pressure. Healthy swap. Choose natural sources of sweetness like berries, or use small amounts of honey or cinnamon to flavor oatmeal or tea. Store-bought cookies, pastries, and frozen TV dinners might look innocent, but many are loaded with trans fats, one of the worst offenders for heart health. And a single frozen meal or takeout combo can contain 2,000 to 2,500 millimilligauss of sodium, even if it doesn't taste that salty. That's because manufacturers often add flavor enhancers, MSG, and soy-based sauces to make the food taste richer while putting a heavy strain on your heart and blood vessels. Healthy swap. Opt for fresh fruit, oatmeal, or homemade baked goods made with ripe bananas and almond flour. Meal tip: try batch cooking at home and storing meals in small containers for the week. That way, you control the ingredients and your sodium intake. Final thoughts for this section. Avoiding these foods doesn't mean your meals have to be bland or boring. The real issue lies in their high sodium content and chemical additives, even when they don't taste salty or sweet. Learning to identify these hidden culprits is the first step to managing your blood pressure effectively, especially after age 60, when your cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive to every extra gram of salt, every spoonful of sugar. Dear friends, knowing which foods to avoid is the first step, but just as important is understanding why these foods are dangerous and what can happen if we continue eating them regularly. For those of us over 60, the effects of our diet are no longer slow or silent. The body responds more quickly, more noticeably, and often more seriously. Here are 4 common consequences of continuing to eat these silent troublemakers every day. This is often the first and most confusing sign, especially for people like Mr. Harold. Even if you're taking your blood pressure medications exactly as prescribed, a diet high in sodium, refined sugar, or trans fats can interfere with how well the medicine works. It's like trying to put out a fire while pouring gasoline at the same time. The meds are doing their job, but the food is working against them. One of the first physical consequences is that your blood pressure stops being steady. It goes up and down, sometimes high, sometimes okay, but never truly under control. This constant fluctuation stretches and strains your blood vessels, much like pulling on a rubber band over and over. Over time, this weakens the elasticity of your arteries, making it harder and harder to manage your blood pressure, even with medication. Every time your blood pressure spikes, even by just 10 or 15 points, it places a sudden burden on your most vital organs, especially your brain, heart, and kidneys. For the brain, high blood pressure is the #1 cause of hemorrhagic stroke, a type of stroke caused by bleeding in the brain that is very difficult to recover from. For the heart, it forces the heart muscle to work harder, often causing it to thicken. Over time, this can lead to heart failure, where the heart can no longer pump blood efficiently. For the kidneys, long-term high blood pressure damages the tiny blood vessels that help filter waste. Eventually, this can lead to chronic kidney disease. These don't happen overnight, but if unhealthy eating habits continue, every normal-looking meal could be quietly wearing down your health from the inside out. As a result, many older adults begin to notice physical symptoms like mild swelling in the legs and ankles by the end of the day, a heavy feeling when walking or standing, getting tired or short of breath when climbing stairs. These issues aren't just uncomfortable, they create a frustrating cycle: less movement, harder to manage blood pressure, higher risk of complications. And finally, something few people talk about is the emotional toll. When you're doing everything right, taking your meds, cutting back on salt, walking regularly, and your blood pressure is still high, it's easy to start feeling discouraged. Some begin to doubt themselves. Motivation slips. That feeling of, I can't control my own body anymore, can slowly lead to dangerous choices. Skipping medications, stopping BP checks, or canceling follow-up appointments. And unfortunately, that's when things can spiral out of control. Summary of the consequences. The dangers of those 5 foods go far beyond just numbers on a blood pressure monitor. They affect your quality of life, your independence, your mobility, and most importantly, your confidence in managing your own health. But understanding these effects isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you to take the right steps at the right time. Dear friends, we've just gone through 5 common foods that can quietly raise your blood pressure and the serious consequences that can follow if we don't take action early. But here's the good news. Every one of those foods can be replaced. And the best part is you don't have to sacrifice flavor or the joy of eating to protect your health. If you enjoy quick breakfasts with deli meat, try switching to boiled chicken breast, unsalted grilled salmon, or thinly sliced steamed lean beef. Pro tip: you can lightly season your meat with herbs like basil, black pepper, garlic, or a splash of lemon juice. These add flavor without the need for extra salt. Meal prep idea: boil or steam a whole chicken breast ahead of time. Keep it in the fridge and slice off portions as needed. It'll stay fresh for up to 3 days. A homemade vegetable soup can be both nourishing and naturally low in sodium. Simple recipe idea: 1 potato, 1 carrot, ear of corn cut into chunks, a few pieces of pumpkin or squash. Add in a handful of lentils or soft-cooked oats for extra fiber and texture. Use low-sodium chicken broth or blended vegetable stock as the base. Top it off with fresh herbs like green onions, cilantro, or dill to bring out flavor. No extra salt needed. When you cook with fresh ingredients, your taste buds will gradually adjust and begin to enjoy the natural flavors without craving salt. Instead of traditional salty pickles, try making a light cucumber salad with apple cider vinegar or thinly sliced red cabbage tossed with lemon juice and a touch of honey. These options still give you that crisp, refreshing crunch while also aiding digestion without the salt overload. Another tasty idea: make a quick pickled salad with carrots, daikon radish, and apple cider vinegar. It pairs perfectly with lean meats and adds color and flavor to your plate. Instead of store-bought cookies, cupcakes, or sugary desserts, try these naturally sweet and heart-friendly options. A ripe banana with a few walnuts. Sliced red apples with unsweetened almond butter. Overnight oats made with almond milk, topped with raisins and a dash of cinnamon. These choices are rich in fiber and potassium, won't spike your blood sugar, and can actually help support healthy blood pressure naturally. Not everyone has time to cook every day, especially as we get older. But the solution isn't cooking more often, it's cooking smart. Cook in batches portion store short term. For example, make a big pot of vegetable soup and divide it into 4 small containers. Boil eggs, steam chicken, and roast vegetables to last for 3 days. Use small containers with labels for each day so you always know what's fresh. When you already have meals ready at home, the urge to just order takeout starts to fade, and your blood pressure often follows. And don't forget, there are plenty of salt-free ways to make your food taste amazing. Garlic, black pepper, chili flakes, ginger, turmeric, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, dried orange zest, fresh herbs like dill, basil, and parsley. These not only boost flavor, but also support heart health, digestion, and blood pressure control. Final tip: you don't need to change everything overnight. Start small, swap just one food each week. Take note of how you feel and let your body and taste buds adjust over time. You might find that your blood pressure improves, but so does your energy, sleep, and mood. Dear Harold, and to everyone watching today's video, we've just walked through 5 everyday foods that might seem harmless, but are actually silent culprits, driving blood pressure higher in people over 60. From a couple slices of deli meat at breakfast, to that quick bowl of instant noodles at lunch, or a spoonful of pickled vegetables at dinner, each one can quietly push your heart to work harder without you even realizing it. We're not saying you have to cut everything out completely or turn your meals into bland, joyless routines. What truly matters is awareness and making thoughtful changes, one step at a time. So, if we had to leave you with just 2 takeaways from today's video, they would be: sometimes it's our lifelong habits that quietly stand in the way of better blood pressure. You don't have to give everything up, but choose just one thing to change, starting tomorrow. Maybe it's swapping deli meat for steamed chicken breast, replacing canned soup with a bowl of homemade veggie broth. Or simply moving the salt shaker a little farther from the dining table. Every small change done consistently can lead to big results. Whether you live with a spouse, your children, or on your own, making dietary changes becomes so much easier when you're not doing it alone. Talk to your loved ones. Let them know you're trying to eat healthier to keep your blood pressure steady. Together you can explore new recipes, discover tasty low-sodium meals, and make the journey more enjoyable and more sustainable. And remember, this isn't just about blood pressure. It's about the quality of life after 60, how you feel, how you move, and how you live each day. To close this chapter, caring for your blood pressure isn't a journey of fear. It's a quiet, ongoing conversation between your body and your heart. Today we learned something new about food. Tomorrow we'll make one small change. And next week your blood pressure just might smile back at you. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end of today's video. If you've ever found yourself wondering, can something as small as a slice of deli meat or a quick bowl of instant noodles really affect my blood pressure that much? Then welcome. You're not alone. Maybe today, Harold's story is also your story. Or perhaps it's the story of your partner or your parents. And if you've ever had similar questions about food, blood pressure, or those everyday habits that seem too small to matter, please feel free to share them with us in the comments below. We read every single message, and sometimes we reply faster than you can open a can of soup. Smiles. And if you found today's video helpful, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Every week, we bring you new videos, simple, gentle, and meaningful. designed to help you care for your heart, your memory, and your well-being at this stage of life. Once again, thank you for spending this time with us. Wishing you a warm and peaceful evening with a meal that may not be salty, but is always full of love.